Once you get to that time of the year, I don't think whoever's put in front of you, you know you got to beat, you know you got to be at your best.
The nerves are a little more and the pressure's a little more on everybody to perform.
There was a lot of pressure that wasn't spoken about, but maybe each and every one of us knew.
We didn't really get going, we didn't really start. I wouldn't say we froze, but...
When that goal goes in to the end of that period, it's like, is this over?
You lose those games, that's your season done, and we weren't ready to be finished.
Well, you're preparing, you want to do your best, you don't want to make mistakes.
It's so important that we get everything right, for the fans as much as anything.
We're doing this. We're going to get through, we're going to win.
You know, the boys said, we can do this, like that belief spread.
You started to believe it yourself.
We had a plan on how we were going to get back into this game.
Angle shot comes through, tipped in front, and then is he going to get across the line?
It doesn't matter, it went in as far as the referee was concerned.
John's not that kind of guy where he's going to go, hey guys, I'm going to go take the goalie's head off.
Armstrong's got the step on Williams, oh, and a big collision.
You're not thinking of anything other than, oh, that kid's all right. You really do.
Couple of good interventions from Sarich. And then Phillips barrels forward, and here's Dan Green's first test against Phillips. Brilliant!
7,000 people kind of cheering for something that you've just been a part of.
Panthers beat the blue line, they'll get a shot in. Mustakovs will make a great save once and twice.
The bench went up because everybody saw, Moose is in the zone as well. We're all here today. We're all fighting for this.
Start to get that feeling in your belly like it's going to happen soon.
He said that weekend pretty much, jump on my back, I'm going to carry you through.
Just put his head down, pinned his ears back and skated like he's never skated before.
There's only one thing in Desi's mind. He's taking that puck to the net, whatever it takes.
9 days of madness.
Nottingham or Fife? Fife or Nottingham? It had to be Nottingham, didn't it?
When it came down to the decision whether it be Fife or Nottingham, obviously travel is one of the big things that kind of pops in your head. Going up to Fife is quite a trip, and especially if the game's back-to-back. But we drew the Panthers, and everybody loves that, don't they?
Nottingham, always going to be tough. They're the local rivalry. Under Corey Nielsen, they've been such a not a league team, but they've been such a cup team, so dominant in cups. But then there was the travel with Fife, but the team, the players, they all wanted Nottingham.
Once you get to that time of the year, I don't think whoever's put in front of you, you know you got to beat, you know you got to be at your best because it's such a small series.
We did have a bit of disappointment losing out on the league, and then a really tough pill to swallow losing the Challenge Cup final too. So we knew that this was our last chance to lift some silverware.
There was a lot of pressure that wasn't spoken about, but maybe each and every one of us knew there was pressure on that. And so everyone was putting that little bit extra, a little bit more work in, fine-tuning, and it was a great week of practice leading into it.
Obviously, we'd lost the league a couple of weeks prior to that, so we were just trying to get healthy at that point, and we hadn't been healthy for a while. It was really imperative that we were planning everything, so that playoff campaign, we had everybody back, everybody knocking on the door. I mean, not everybody's healthy, but everybody's going to be available.
I think before the game, you're just thinking, it's a 6-period game. We've got to be, obviously we've got to be at our best. We're here first in Nottingham playing. We have to start well, and everything we've done that week, we need to focus in on that.
It is that time of year where the nerves are a little more and the pressure's a little more on everybody to perform on that given night. So it was a little on edge, but nothing out of the ordinary for players that are in there.
I wish I could tell you what it was like in Nottingham on that Saturday, but I wasn't there. I was waiting for my wardrobes to be delivered.
10 minutes before warm-up, I'd say it was quieter than usual. Everyone's that much more focused, because at the end of the day, you lose those games, that's your season done, and we weren't ready to be finished. We had to win a trophy, and that was our last hurrah. And so we knew there was a lot of pressure on us.
They could only do it. It was the only day in like a 6-week period they could deliver them, and I asked for the early delivery, 1 o'clock, but they didn't turn up till 6 o'clock, so I couldn't go. So like everybody else, I watched it on Twitter.
Over the league season and the cup campaigns, I think we were the far better team. I don't think Nottingham were close to being a Nottingham team that of the past, and we were confident going in. So, but we respect them, and that's the big thing. We respect what they're about and what they can do in these competitions.
Tapped it back for Wall. On for Lindhagen it goes, and he's going to get the motor revving here. Schultz with a pickup, waiting for the screen to develop. Oh, what a feed for Nicky Fork!
That is beautiful!
When you concede a goal early like that in a big game, it kind of deflates you a little bit because everybody's up for it, everybody's ready for it, and then you concede that goal and it just knocks that wind out of you. It just kind of stuns you, and you've got to try and get your legs back under you.
Kind of remember the build-up to that play where Nicky Fork scored. It was, you know, it was a nice goal. It was, I think there was a couple of crosses and drop passes, and you know, very kind of skill, well taken goal. I mean, at first you kind of think, oh, you know, okay, let's kind of regroup again. Let's get going. We need a good couple of shifts here to get back some momentum and start pushing.
I always thought if we got the first goal, there was no looking back. That was it, game one. But if another team scored first, it was sometimes it could go either way. But that's a fact in hockey. If you score the first goal, the percentage of you're going to win is a lot higher.
Wired to the other side for Williams. Backdoor looking for Farmer once again. This time just missing the pass. Then Williams with the shot. Farmer scores!
Yeah, when Farmer scored that second one, it's almost, you kind of don't want to make another mistake. Now you're 2 goals down.
Unfortunately for me, it's too regular of a nervous feeling sitting in the box, hoping and praying that they're not going to score on your penalty, and especially in a playoff game like that when it's even more crucial. You know, and then they score, and it's you know, personally, it's very disheartening. You know, you feel you've let the team down. You know, you made a big mistake, but at the same time, you can't really focus on it. You gotta move past. You gotta forget about it. Everything, you know, there's nothing to do about the past. Everything happens so quickly. You gotta go. But you know, at that point, I think 2-0. I think it was, and you know, that's not where you want to be.
Sertic gains it from Moran. Dishes off for Nicky Fork. The relay down low once again for Brad Moran. Number 9 with the biscuit now. Pumps it to point position. Sertic walking the line as Nicky Fork dishes off for Schultz. The rebound and scores!
1-0's not a problem. 2-0's okay, let's start getting moving. 3-0 is we need to wake up.
We didn't really get going. We didn't really start. I wouldn't say we froze, but a couple of pucks landed on sticks. Bang, bang, bang.
You know, that's kind of where you start thinking for a second, oh no, here we go again. Is it going to be last year where, you know, we didn't make the playoffs? A lot of emotions go through your head, you know, within the space of a couple of minutes, the highs and lows.
I remember sitting on the bench thinking, we need to bloody pick ourselves out of this hole and quick, because in those type of games, it's goals and goal difference, right? So you lose the first game by a handful, and it's going to be very difficult.
Got a tweet off Dean Woolley when we were 3-0 down with 3-0 David, what's going on? And all I could think of, I can't get my handles on my wardrobe doors.
We have a resilience about us that, you know we have the ability to come back from these situations. You never want to put yourself in this situation over a 2-legged affair. We just needed to stop the hemorrhaging and build.
He takes a lot of those. Oh, Fischel coming in hot on Brian McGrattan. And it's getting wild out here, folks.
Well, the whole McGrattan situation, obviously, in hindsight, is not a very good feeling. But, you know, at the time, you know, and it probably wasn't the game, but at the time, you know, you go down 3-0, and one of my jobs is to try to get the boys excited, and I want to go out there and challenge their big man, you know, on McGrattan, and he's known to do it, and you know, so I take my chance, try to get him to fight, and you know, he turned me down at first, and chased after him a bit, you know, try to get him. Sometimes guys will, you know, switch their idea or their mind about things if you chase after him a bit. But you know, he kind of remained calm, and he was doing I got to give it to him. He was doing a good job of, you know, letting me kind of lose my cool a bit there, and I lost my cool and shoved him probably 2, maybe 3 times, too many times.
Fitzy's out there doing his job when your team goes behind and you're in Fitzy's role, which is one of the toughest roles to be in, to be honest. You got to go and get your team going the way you do best.
McGrattan's a seasoned fighter. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't want to fight Fitzy because he doesn't want to get a spark going for our team. So if Fitzy was in McGrattan's shoes, he would have done the same thing.
So at that point, you know, I realized, okay, you know, he's not going to fight me. So now it's time to get back into play, and I think the rush actually came down the far side, and it was all right. Now we got to play hockey kind of deal.
But number 13,
Obviously, Fitzy's got that one thing in his head. McGrattan shakes him off and goes down the other end, and he gets the tapping at the back door. It's just like, oh, it's a kick in the gut. It was like, oh.
Look at the big man. With the celebration, Brian McGrattan.
That was the salt on the wound. That one, you know, that one hurts a lot. You know, that one hurts a lot when that happens, especially when you're one of the, you know, ingredients to that whole situation happening.
The celebration was a little suspect, a little bit of a speed wobble on there, but yeah, I think that gave us a bit of a spark in itself. You're thinking, you know what, like, what are you doing?
You know, I'm not a big fan of the pre-thought of celebrations, but that's just me. I don't score a lot of goals either, so you know, that's probably why I don't think of it. But you know, when I score, it's usually just kind of raw emotion and celebrating and all that. So yeah, that definitely pissed me off.
Yeah, I mean, this is all in the first period, so now we're thinking, where do we go from here? You know, there's that, I think from when that goal goes in to the end of that period, it's like, is this over? You know, and you know, the odds are, yes, it is, against a very good Nottingham team in Nottingham.
During the period break, I let the players go in, vent their frustration, do whatever they do. You know, I don't go straight into the room. I let them have their time, but I needed my time. And I didn't speak to anybody. I was just thinking, okay, how do I approach this right now?
I don't think I can say on camera what Tomo said after that first period intermission, but it wasn't good. And we all knew that. We all knew that it wasn't good enough. You know, we're Sheffield Steelers and we pride ourselves on working hard and playing good hockey, and that first period wasn't hard enough and wasn't good enough.
I think as a coach, you kind of got to do whatever it takes to get a reaction from your team, and I think at that specific moment, he didn't usually go ranting and raving, to be honest, but he's experienced enough to know when he needs to, and that was definitely a chance where he needed to.
And then when I walked into the room, we just broke down a plan. We had a plan. We had a plan on how we were going to get back into this game. There was 5 periods, and I even said at the time, this is going to go to 6 periods after the first period. So this is going to be a 7-period hockey game.
So it's just trying to calm everybody down. It's not, don't get me wrong, it's not great, but it's not the end of the world. It can be brought back. So everyone's just got to knuckle down and get a couple of goals back. If you come out of that building 1 goal back, it's a pretty good game in the playoffs like that. They're a good team, and it's tough to go into their building and do it. So all you're thinking there is, right, we shut the door at the back and we get a couple of goals.
I was very focused. Jerry was very focused. We turned the focus round of the team. I mean, because, you know, emotions are everywhere. There wasn't panic, but there was a few emotions and frustrations, and because it was bang, 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 bang.
I think, you know, Tomo is quite emotional at times where he can come in and snap. You know, he came in, snapped, but it was what we needed. It was, you know, we needed that. And then I think that was kind of, once he snapped, it was like, right, now we go. You've had your bollocking, let's go.
And Waugh try to get it out quickly and surgically this way. On for, oh, they scored! That's a great feed by Nielsen. And then it's Nelson who just dangles it in.
Putting a goal on the board, with, you know, when it's 4-0 is huge. It gives you some hope. It shows you a bit of light, you know, and especially when Levi scores. The guy is fireball and hilarious when he scores, and I love it. And it gets everybody fired up, maybe as much as a fight sometimes, because it's exhilarating and contagious.
Levi's goal made it 4-1, and that was a big goal because, you know, if that goes the other way, that's 5-0. That's sort of good night, God bless.
To be honest, I thought we did dominate that second period. It was lucky just to only have the 1 goal, but you know, you could, hockey there's a lot of momentum shifts, and you could see it shift to us and how we actually like got in the game. It's a shame we didn't start the game like we did. We started the second.
You know, when you get that and you see the corner erupt over there, you know, the orange waves and people screaming and things, you know, kind of look, hope is back.
Raw again. Deschanel fires, and Weekman makes a save. The follow-up, they score! Net front presence.
Walks put that one in. That's huge. The bench went nuts.
You know, as soon as that went in, you could feel the bench just kind of. It was like, right, you know, everyone stood up and kind of remained standing. It's like, right, here we go, here we come.
After the first period, we said, you know, we're going to win period 2, we're going to win period 3. It's going to be a maximum of a 2-goal deficit taken into our building, which we're very confident about, especially with the team that we felt we had and what we've done to Nottingham in this building over the season.
We've got that confidence going high, and I think, you know, in the last kind of 30 seconds then, you know, the puck just kind of runs away from Jace a bit as he's coming out to break out from the corner.
Thank you very much. He's got Robert Lakovich on the back door. Oh, once again, score!
Coyler gets stripped right at the end of the game. I think, what was it? I can't remember, 15 seconds to go in the game. Lawrence strips him, takes the puck away, they go in and score. And you think, crikey. I
think it was Lawrence did a good play. I don't know if Jace knew he was behind him or whatnot, but it was a little kick in the teeth, but they happened to all of us. It was just a bad time in the game, really, but I'd never really knock anyone for making mistakes because I make them as much as anybody, so it was just got a little bit kick in the teeth with it just being so late in the game when we'd just done so well to claw ourselves back into it.
You know, our roller coaster now is all over the place. We've gone from chest out and, you know, having that confidence to now we're 3 goals down again. You know, we haven't got time to get this back today. So now we've got a game. Now we've got a real challenge.
That goal was big. For Nottingham, it was big because they thought they had it in the bag. When they, at the end of that game, 5-2, they thought they had it in the bag and they were going to come in here on the Sunday and coast. 4-2 would have been very acceptable. We would have took 4-2 coming back into Sheffield easily. 5-2, it was a totally different story.
So to come in the room after conceding that it was flat, to say the least. It was a flat room. There wasn't many guys talking. There was obviously a few frustrated guys, but everyone was kind of a bit deflated.
Yeah, not many words were said after the game. You don't need to speak. You know, everyone knows it wasn't good enough. The players, the coaching staff, you don't need to come in screaming and hollering. The guys don't need to say anything. We know it wasn't good enough.
There was no screaming, there was no shouting, there was no chairs throwing. You know, our team doesn't need that. Our team are grown men who want to win, who understand what it takes to win and have won multiple times. So what we need is reinforcement. What we need to do is understand what we need to do to get back into it. So it was I might have gone and had a little shout to myself in the coach's room because you know, the momentum had totally swung our way, and then boom, 15 seconds to go in the game, bang, it's their way. So we're going in with a 3-goal deficit.
I don't think anything Tomo says right now, I wonder how that'll go down. Will people listen? I think it has to come from one of us. And I think it has to be, you know, I think this is the perfect kind of time. So I just kind of stood up and I don't think I shouted, but, you know, kind of sternly said, like, you know, boys, what are we doing? Like, we have to realise the situation we're in. We have to realise the season gone by and how we've lost out in a final of a Challenge Cup, and we've lost out in the league. And now we're about to lose out in the playoffs. We're not even going to make the Final Four for the 2nd year running. Like, that can't happen. Gently nudged everyone's kind of realisation that you know, there's still 3 periods to play, and the way we play, we can do this. We can really do this. But we can't do what we just did today.
And I watched everyone get on the bus, and everyone had the same body language, mentality. Everyone was heartbroken. You know, 5-2 going into the Sunday game is not how we saw the game going.
It's quite disheartening, and you're down on yourself, and then, you know, you go on social media and you get it on there too, and you know, the little salt on top doesn't, you know, there's definitely a sense of it's not going to happen. There's no way, we're done. Season's over, you know. You kind of get that feeling, but also at the same time in our room, you know, we knew we had another game.
I remember speaking to Tomo after the game. I rang him just to get some words for the website, and he was just mad. He was fuming. He was fuming that it was 4-0, then he was happy it was 4-2, then he was fuming at Coiler because of what had happened to make it 5-2.
Well, Paul was pretty uptight. He was upset. He was upset that he'd not got the performance he wanted out of the team. We prepared as well as anyone, like we always do for big games, and it just didn't happen on the night. You know, that we didn't get the breaks, and we came away with a deficit that was going to be difficult to close. But Paul said he would go back, he would go home, he would take stock of everything that had happened, and come back with a plan for Sunday night, and that's sure enough what he did.
Must have spoke for 40 minutes, but by the end of the 40 minutes, he'd kind of come back. Needed somebody to vent at, I think. And then when he'd vented, he was okay. Then he was focused and got to do my job. I've got to do what I'm paid to do. I've got to get it right. I'll be ready tomorrow. See you at the rink tomorrow morning.
I was angry, not in front of the team. And then I was quiet, and I was sitting there, and my wife said to me, now you've got to come to the fore. This is why you're the Sheffield Steelers coach. In times like this, in times of adversity, you've got to pull your group back together. And it was great words, you know, because at that time you started, what if? You know, in that moments when you're on your own. I mean, I always come back round it, but I question myself, because that's what good people do. They question themselves first, and then have a look at how they can come out of that, and hopefully direct what's going to happen going forward. So she was absolutely massive for me at that point, and she just it just made me shake myself and get myself focused of what was required the next day. And
me and my wife have always tried to leave hockey separate from home life, but yeah, it's not. The only time you get away from hockey really is in the off season. In the season, you bring it home with you, even if you try not to.
You go home and you go to bed, and then you wake, you don't sleep, you get up again an hour later because you can't sleep. And I remember going downstairs and watching the NHL on TV. I think it was around 4 o'clock. I think 4:30 when I went to bed that night and fell asleep. Your mind just plays game over and over. What could you have done differently? What happened in the game? Mistakes personally I made, or you know, how the game played out, what you're going to do differently tomorrow. Just lots of little things. Your mind just ticks and ticks and ticks, especially after a loss like that. It ticks over, and it was tough to swallow.
If I'm honest, I think that was when I went to bed that night, and I think once you're away from the boys, I think the wife was asleep already. Kind of lay down, put the telly on. I think that was the first bit of doubt I had. And I just thinking, Nottingham can score. They can score a lot of goals at will. They're skilled. We can score enough goals, but can we stop them from scoring? And that was definitely the first bit of doubt I had. It didn't last long, but you know, those kind of thoughts are running through my mind. Kind of the next day, you kind of wake up and go through your normal routine. You shake yourself down, and you know, you're ready for that game. And I was confident, and I remember coming in, and the first person I saw was Warzy, and he just kind of looked up and said, I woke up today and just thought, we're doing this. We're going to get through. We're going to win. And it was weird, because as soon as he said it, I was at that point, I'd kind of said that to myself too. But when he said it, I was like, no, we really are. And it was only something small, but something so small is unreal how it can really lift you.
I had a real good feeling, and then I had it all day.
It was just that day where you almost kind of like woke up, think, all right, you know, it's going to be a good day. It's going to be a good day.
It was weird. Guys were really confident. I can't remember who it was.
Royce and Jono were talking, saying, I've got a good feeling about this today. And there was a couple of boys around, heard the conversation and jumped in and like say, yeah, me too, I've got a good feeling about today. And that kind of spread.
And it's good to see two of your older players and veteran players have that same feeling. And then we had a real good mood in the dressing room before the game.
You know, the boys say, we can do this. Like, that belief spread.
You started to believe it yourself. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those feelings where it was like, yeah, we have. I really think we do. And that kind of confidence spread throughout the room an hour or two before face-off.
Flogging draw tickets outside, fans were, some of them were emotional wrecks, some of them were doom and gloom merchants. They were already putting their playoff finals tickets on eBay, but some of them had a little bit of hope. And as I was flogging them tickets, I was trying to give them a bit of hope. And but I don't know if I had too much hope at that stage. And then you walk into the building and you hope it's going to go.
So you drive into the arena car park. I'd already had a conversation with my neighbour as I'm getting in the car. The shout came across, how did you go last night, Tony? Unfortunately, we lost. Okay, I don't think we'll be getting past Sunday. I'd like to think we are, but I'm not sure we're going to get there. So you drive into the car park and yeah, there's a lot of disappointed fans there. But you know what? Never say die in Steelerland, and our fans, I think, were a big part of lifting us on the Sunday night.
We had a plan going in, what we were required to do each period. We set it up nicely with a very brief team meeting.
Well, he came in and, to be fair, he gave one of the best speeches he has done all year. There's no doubt he didn't get any sleep, just like the rest of us.
And we went through what this means to us as individuals, what it means to us, to our families, what it means to us for our fans. And we represent a lot of people here. And we represent a lot of people that spend their hard-earned money, and they're going to want to see us go out there and give everything that we've got.
He drew on the board period 1, 2, and 3. He said, by the end of each period, I want to put a tick. I want to win each single period, and we'll take it into overtime.
Period 4, 1 goal. That was it. That was his only message. Short and sweet, nice and plain. Just 1 goal every period.
And the boys were like, okay, well, yeah, that's doable. Win each period, that's fine. We'll take that.
In 10 previous playoff quarter-finals second leg games, the Steelers have only won twice, and only once was the win enough to actually go through. They don't only need to win tonight, they need to win by at least 3. A 5-2 defeat in Nottingham following a 4-0 first period has put the Steelers in a hole. The Panthers managed a 3-goal second leg comeback 5 years ago against Braehead, so it's far from impossible, and the Steelers have beaten the Panthers by 3 or more at home 3 times this season already. It's time to see if this whole team can step up and deliver something special. If they can, it'll be a night that'll get talked about for years. Moran fans on the pass. Steelers will try and take advantage. Panthers are back in numbers. The Steelers will have to just hold on to this for a moment and wait for support to arrive. Walker, Valdix. Swept across to the far side. Angle shot comes through, tipped in front, and then is he going to get across the line? The Steelers celebrate! The Steelers celebrate! But what's the call? Have they given in? I think they have! The Panthers say no. Vietman thought he recovered in time. But everyone in orange is on their feet and celebrating.
I think Davey came D to D across to me, and it was a little bit in front. And it bounced off the boards, and I thought, just get it through to the net. Just get it through to the net and see. You never know what happens in this type of game.
Levi, the goal, was it the goal? I've got to be honest with you. Whether it's my one eye, whether it was wishful thinking, but from the view, it was a goal. It crossed the line.
Levi was there, Johnny on the spot, and did it go in, didn't go in, it doesn't matter. It went in. As far as the referee was concerned, you know, it's very tight to see unless you have video evidence live in the penalty box. You know, these things are going to come out throughout the year, and to be honest, from the video we had, it's not conclusive.
I saw it cross the line. Did he cross the line? Who knows? But I think it crossed the line.
Huge goal, and you know, that energized the building. It energized everybody. It energized our bench. The first thing I did is I looked at their bench, and I looked at their coaching staff. And I could see they're thinking, here they come, here they come.
So at the end of the first period, we come in, and he does a speech and the tactics and how we're playing, and then he ends it with, it's still not good enough. And if anyone can remember that first period, it was very, very good hockey. And he said, it's not good enough. So the boys will look around, he ticked the board and walked out. So we were thinking, geez.
Still in there today. I looked today. Andy's left it on. We had that plan. Big tick on the board. Okay, we've achieved that. Now, it's the next step that we got to get to.
And it's like, yep, no, he's right. Let's go. Let's do it again. We got to win period 2. Let's get to it. That second period, you could see that now we were settled in. We were taking over, and you know, things were going our way, and you know, we were getting shot after shot and starting to break through to the net. And you know, Dowdy was just an absolute machine that day. I know Tomo said that, you know, we wanted some more hits that game off Dowdy, and the hit count on it, I mean, I don't even know on top of my head, because it was huge. It was 4 games worth of hits for him.
Now Dowd. Robert Dowd has been in such good form recently, and he tests Viekman again with another good low shot. And Dowd is down and he's not getting back up. And play will be whistled dead. Nothing has been seen by any of the officials.
It was terrible. He had no intention of going for the body or the puck. You know, if you see it back, I remember sitting on the bench and watching it on the big screen. And they played it 3 or 4 times, and the crowd was going crazy because no one really saw it, I don't think, from the crowd to begin with. You know, give him credit, it was pretty sneaky, but when you saw it back on the replay, he cross-checked him straight in the chin.
I don't remember too much of it, if I'm honest. Too many hits to the head, but yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating just because we're having a good shift. On that shift, we were flying around, creating good opportunities. So once that happens, it kind of dampers it a little bit.
Steelers would love to take advantage. And their time in the offensive zone. Coyle sends it across to the far corner. Mickey Forup. Hit into the board. Oh, and this one is going to be called against Armstrong. And there maybe could have been a boarding called earlier, but there will be one now.
I think when Johnny took the penalty, it was not frustrating because it wasn't obviously his fault, but for them not to get a penalty when I take a cross-check in the face, and then literally seconds later, Army gets a penalty for not doing too much. I think he just outpowered a guy in the corner. Everyone was frustrated, but then it's like, right, now we got 2 minutes to try and shut this down.
Everyone who was on the ice for that kill knew how big it was. They understood the severity of that kill, and Moose is Moose, and he does what he does, and that's why he's one of the best goalies in the league.
The Steelers will be happy with their first 50 seconds of killing. Panthers beat the blue line. They'll get a shot in. Mustakovs will make a great save once and twice. That's fantastic. The follow-up from Lawrence in particular. He had no right to get a foot to.
There was a shot, a rebound that fell right on Lawrence's stick, and Moose just flicked his left leg out, and huge save, and you could feel the building then.
He's awesome. They say your best penalty killer needs to be a goalie, and that game he was excellent and definitely bailed us out.
The bench went up because everybody saw, you know, Moose is in the zone as well. We're all here today. We're all fighting for this. So that was a pivotal point, because if they score that goal at that point, it's a tough ask.
Coyle gloves this one down and immediately gets the Steelers moving forward to Fretter. Armstrong's got the step on Williams. Oh, and a big collision. And the puck is in, but the goal won't count. The collision with the netminder, and it's immediately waved off. Oh, and the rough stuff will come in. Viekman stays down, and there's now real concern for Mika Viekman.
I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the Armstrong incident, but, you know, I think Fret's got over the blue, dropped past, Johnny came with speed, cut from the outside, took the puck to the net. He's a big unit. And then the defenseman and him have contact, and he ends up, or they both end up, hitting Viekman.
It's hard to say. People say he did it on purpose, and stuff like that happens all the time. It's just an accident. I've shoved loads of players into my goalie.
John's not that kind of guy where he's going to go, hey guys, I'm going to go take the goalie's head off. That's just not John as a hockey player or a man at all. But
he's trying to get to the net. You're trying to push him round, angle him off to the side of the net, and sometimes it's just collateral damage. He goes straight into the goalkeeper. And
you know, I've pushed guys into my goalies a lot I've had to kind of learn to make sure not to do that, because I've actually really like pushed guys into the goalie, and some have gotten hurt at times. And
the neck brace is going on, and then his family are running down there, and he's put on a board. And for that split second, or that split 2 minutes, you're not thinking of anything other than, oh, that kid's all right. You really do.
In the back of your mind, I won't lie to you, I was thinking Dan Green's on their bench. And I love Dan, but I was thinking Dan Green's on their bench.
Whether they had Winkman or Green in there, I still think we would have won. And people who say it would have been a different game, I don't think it would have been personally. I know I'm obviously biased because I was playing for Sheffield and on the winning team, but I think it was irrelevant who was in goal.
And Winkman goes off and Greener comes on. And I won't lie to you, there was a warm glow. There was a fuzzy feeling in the stomach. And anybody who says there wasn't, is lying to you. Because there's a difference between Whitman and Green. As good a guy, Dan Green's probably 10 times the guy Whitman is. But Whitman's 10 times the goalie that Green is.
No disrespect to Dan, we know he's not of the level of Whitman. But that didn't change. That didn't change a single thing. We didn't talk about him. We talked about our plan.
No, I mean, we've done that before, when someone else goes in goals, and you start shooting from the outside and you stop penetrating. So when Greener went in, he's an experienced goalie. He's there for a reason. We can't change a thing. He's going to stop shots if you start shooting from bad angles and things. So it was all systems go. Nothing changed for us.
So Armstrong, in my opinion, he gets a 5-minute penalty and he's thrown out of the game, which was the wrong call. It was totally the wrong call. He got the penalty because of the injury, not because of the incident. And so we had to focus on killing.
Every single kill, every time you're in your D zone is, in a game like that, is crucial. One turnover of the puck, one mistake could cost you the game. And Rod on the boards, that's why we call him chairman of the boards, Rod Sarich. Not many people beat him on the boards. He's fantastic.
Going behind the goal, Moran. Nicky Foruk steps away from the crease. He's onto possession now. Oh, fan as it went back towards Moran, and Sarich got a bit of a stick in. And then again, a couple of good interventions from Sarich. And then Phillips barrels forward, and here's Dan Green's first test against Phillips. Brilliant! Oh, what a goal from the captain! One shot, one goal on Green, and the Steelers are back within one.
Roddy, gets the poke on the puck, and then it kind of comes to me. I managed to poke it past, I think it was Spang, who was the point guy. And as soon as I poked it and got a clean kind of break, I knew there was, no one was going to catch me. I was gone.
And no one's beaten Jono in a foot race. There's a reason why he's so old and still playing. He's a whippet.
But I was when he first picked up the puck, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to just not break away from him here. Spang's going to be right on his heels. And then I think Jono hit a gear that he's never hit before. And like I said, he's a quick player, and he just took off. And there was like distance between them both. And I was just like,
It's exciting, but you just think, please put it in. Please put it in.
I think for me, if I'm on a breakaway, I know if I'm going to score as soon as I get the puck or not. I mean, there's times where, I don't score a lot of goals, but at certain moments I've been on breakaways and I've thought I'm going to score this. I've got that confidence, which I don't always have when I'm on the puck. But there was something in me there and then which just knew as soon as I got it, I'm scoring this. I know I'm not going to miss this. And I could feel Spang kind of, bearing down on my back. And as I was coming down, I saw Greener come out, and then he just kind of stopped. And I knew that, how quick I was going, I knew that he wouldn't be able to get back into his net in time. So I just managed to give, the smallest of fakes and walk around him.
Can I tell a little story?
You can.
So when Tony first come in and kind of took over the Steelers and everything like that, when I first come back, we were all having a meeting, and Tony was talking to us, and he was like, I want you to celebrate, like really celebrate when you score a goal. I don't just want you to touch gloves, like celebrate. get excited about it. The fans love that.
When I said, John, when we score a goal, is there any chance we can look excited as a team? You know, maybe get the crowd involved and do a few high fives or whatever you have to do, but let's get the crowd involved. And
I remember John Boy was the first guy to be like, what's he want us to do? Jump up and down and do a dance when we score? Like, John Boy is very understated when he scores a goal. Like, he scored some big goals, but he is quite understated when he scores.
And I just remember as I turned into the corner and that, you know, feeling ecstatic, it was, I just kind of lost my head and went crazy and just thought, I'm going down on one knee and I'm fist pumping and I ain't going to stop.
Yeah, 2 fist pumps is good. 3, yeah, okay, 4, 6, 7 right now, let it go. It was a nice goal, but come on.
So then to see him when he scores that goal, and I think he does 17 fist pumps down the boards. Yeah, it was a great feeling, but it was just funny. It just showed how much it meant to the boys, and especially how much it meant to Jonna. For him to react like that, it was great.
I knew the importance of that goal, of that play, of being, it was everything rolled into one, and I think all emotion just kind of came flooding out. It was a release of energy. It was a release of frustration from the night before.
I don't think I've ever, in 7 years watching as owner, seen a player celebrate as much as Jonathan Phillips did on that night.
I'm not one to do that, but I think, I really enjoyed that. It was, and I could feel that. I could feel, you know, 7,000 people kind of cheering for something that you've just been a part of. You know, that's a feeling that, you know, certainly when hockey's over, you'll never get that feeling back, ever.
Well, that belief, every goal we scored, that belief grew and grew. You know, 1 goal closer, 1 goal closer. You know, that belief just grew and grew and grew. Every goal that went in, we felt more confident, more secure that this game was ours and we weren't going to lose it.
The message was a tick in the box at the end of the second period. We've now done what we set out to do, but it's still not good enough. We're still not competing hard enough, and we were competing. We were doing everything, but you're just trying to change the psyche and get them to focus on what's required for that next 20 minutes.
You felt something good was going to happen, or you felt like it was coming. We were flying, we had them hemmed in, and then the face-off, and it just seemed to bounce perfectly. It kind of bobbled around on the dot, skipped right through, and all of a sudden it was almost like a 2-on-0 on Green.
Oh, opportunity, chance on Green, it's got underneath him! The Steelers are level on aggregate! Straight from the face-off, they went straight at Dan Green, and they found the gap underneath.
Now we've pulled it back. Now, like, this is unbelievable. This is a movie.
And when he put that in, the building just went insane. The bench, and it was just all this pressure that you felt, and all that misery the night before and stuff like that. It's just lifted off, and it was just the feeling on the bench you can't describe. It's
guys like Jono and Marcus that maybe don't get the headlines throughout the year of scoring these beautiful, amazing goals, getting 40, 50 goals, but it's those players in big games that step up. It doesn't matter from who, you know, everyone steps up.
He was brilliant. He was my signing of the season. He was absolute class. His skating ability and his hands, it was something I've never seen before.
Once that goal from Marcus went in, you could see a few of their players were like, uh-oh, like they're coming.
They didn't realize kind of what had happened. You know, we'd hit them back early on and just kept coming at them. And
I kept saying to the players, look at them. They don't believe, boys. They don't believe. And we were just trying to do anything to enhance our ability to go on again.
If we were in their shoes, we'd be subdued and we'd be down and thinking, how the hell has this got to where it is right now?
This is the line the Steelers want out there. Oh, and it's a penalty coming against the Panthers.
When we got that power play, I mean, we were in the end zone for a while, and I think we had 4 or 5 shots prior to that. And, you know, we were talking about get good net presence, you know, Dowdy, if you have a chance to rip it, if you have a chance to move it, get it through from the top, Desi get in on the net, whatever it is, crowd that net off.
We felt like, or I felt like we were killing quite a lot, and we made a few big kills. It was huge. So then to finally get that PP for us, a few minutes left in the game, that it's crunch time. We need to do something with this now. This needs to be converted.
Well, that's why you call him the golden child, right? It's Robert Dowd. I believe, and I might quote a David Sims, cometh the moment, cometh the man, and that's Dowdy. Those big games, that's why he steps up.
I remember Marcus coming off the wall and faking to go to the top. He skated to the middle of the ice and he just threw a puck to Dowdy. And
power play was clicking and we were moving it nicely, getting into good positions. So when it finally it came, it kind of went up, back down, and then it come across the seam to me. I knew there'd be a gap on the blocker side. All I had to do was lift it high. So as it come to me, it was perfect pass right in my wheelhouse. So you just had to get it up there.
The crowd rises. Is this the moment? It is! Oh yes, it is! 4-0 down in the first period on Saturday night. The Steelers now lead by 6 goals to 5. This is incredible. Looked like it was down. I don't think it was tipped en route. What a moment.
He lets that little snapper go and it's a rocket. You know, through screens, there's no one going to save that.
wow, it's just, at that point then, it's more than belief. You know, the place just goes nuts. I mean, you know, you kind of, when you're in it, you hear it for a split second and you're straight back on what needs to be done. And it was only when I went back on the highlights and Jonathan Fernley, you know, his reaction and the noise you hear then through the TV cameras and unbelievable. That's just an unbelievable feeling.
His celebration says it all, doesn't it? That's how much it means. You know, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it.
You know, we're jumping around on the bench and, you know, again, making ourselves dizzy from being so excited. You know, Dowdy, as cool as can be, and just kind of casually skates through the crowd, you know, sucks his cheeks in just like he's having one of his photo shoots, puts his arms in the air and, you know, just kind of says, yep.
I loved it. Just skates to the middle of the end zone and puts his arms out. What do you think about that? Fantastic.
What, this one?
That's the one. That's the one.
I had to ask him about that one. I had to ask him about that. Yeah, that was good. I mean, hey, more power to him. That's confidence right there in a box.
I love scoring goals. Like, I'd love to do it a lot more, but I love scoring goals, and to score one in that situation, in front of that crowd, with the importance of it, that was one of the best feelings ever.
My daddy.
Players like Dowdy, the way they play, the skill set they have, they need that. I mean, I'm going to say cockiness, but it is confidence. They need that confidence, and they need that almost air of arrogance about them to be that good, and to, you know, to take those opportunities. Whereas someone like me would try and, you know, you try and pass at the wrong time, and, you know, that doesn't go in. But Dowdy, with his shot and his skill, he's got that kind of, you know, chest out and, yep, I'm going to do this. And he's done it so many times before, and he does it on, you know, one of the biggest stages.
1 minute and 52 seconds remaining. And Corey Nielsen and Paul Thompson have 30 seconds to chat to their team.
So we're there, we're in the playoffs. Happy days, see you later, Nottingham. Get ready with the music, Naomi. You know, na, hey, hey, goodbye, it's about to be played. A few of them have started leaving. And then Lawrence.
We had a couple of chances on the empty net, and it doesn't go in, and you're excited, you're thinking, oh, this could be game over. All it needs to do is take a hop in, it's game over.
When it's missed, you know they're going to come straight back down on you, you know. not really going to break out. They've got the extra man. It's only going to be a matter of seconds till they're back in your end. So you've got to get your composure, use it as a quick breather, and get ready for them to throw the kitchen sink at you.
I wanted our best two killers out there, forward-wise, but Yared was struggling on face-offs. John would have took a couple of them because he was our strongest face-off guy, but obviously he wasn't in the game. Desi tried as well. We had a right and left shot combination, but they keep winning the draws clean and getting it back in. And
you know, that last face-off, you're thinking 8 seconds. 8 seconds, just get possession and get rid of it.
You know they're going to fire everything at net. They're just going to chuck bodies around there, screen the goalies, get tips and rebounds, and just cause some chaos and get it through. And yeah, unfortunately, I was on the ice for that one.
Face-off win for the Panthers. Is there time for one last block? There is from Desbiens. They might need another one. Oh, what a goal for the Panthers! They've tied it with 8 seconds left. They used the extra skater, and Mustakovs is beaten. The Steelers fans are stunned.
Desi got out to the point, lost his stick, and then kind of fell over.
I was kind of sunk a little lower into the net, and but just still trying to stay in Schultz's lane. And then it comes over, so I know it's going to be a one-timer from Schultz. And I just thought, if I lay down, at least I'm taking away the middle of the net.
Schultz gets it slid across to him, and he kind of takes a one-time, but he doesn't get all of it, so it kind of knuckleballs and doesn't get all of it, so it's not a straight one. It kind of knuckleballs in there,
and it comes straight up, quick, and it's going through, and it just kind of looked by, but it just kind of brushes my shoulder too. And then, Larry again, it was been a thorn in our side kind of thing all year.
Larry gets a tip and it goes in, and it was just deflation. I don't think there's any other way to describe it, just deflation.
I was fuming with myself, just purely because I was on the ice and I felt like I let everyone down. The team, the fans, everybody. We just fought that hard to get back into the game. And I'm stood around the net and he just goes and tips it. And honestly, I was never been so mad. But then I just kept praying, like, we can't lose this now.
You couldn't write the script. From a perspective of pure emotion and up and down and what it takes to have that hit you with 8 seconds to go was tough.
We're going to overtime now, and then again you start to believe that we can still do this, because I do think we had the slight advantage with having Dan Green in goal. I felt for Dan that night, but sport's a sport.
The rule change for overtime, I think, was the most crucial part of that series, because what it did, it made me reinforce. It gave the players time to calm down. If we'd have gone straight into a 4-on-4 situation where the ice wasn't cut and we just went straight at it, there may have been that low.
It, more than anything, just gave us a break. Just for a couple of minutes, just to kind of refocus again.
Boys, keep your heads up. This is where we wanted to be. We said before the game, we will take overtime. We'll take overtime. It's our barn, it's our fans, and we've dominated this game.
Tomo came in, said what he had to say. It's not good enough, and walks out. And someone kind of checked the board, and we just started, the whole dressing room is like, Tomo, come back. And he's like, what? I'm like, you haven't ticked the board. You haven't ticked off period 6. So he's like, yeah. So he gets his pen, ticks it off, walks out. Come on, one more left.
It's all or nothing. Next goal is the winner, and then I just remember it was just end to end. They had chances, we had chances.
Warzy, not the quickest guy, but powerful on the puck, and drives, and
Royce burst down the wing, and Roddy was streaking through the middle, and
Roddy was given a pass and tried to get a backhand away, and being overtime and being what it meant. I mean, I think in any other game that would have been called. I got a little tug on him, just did enough on him. And Roddy didn't get so much on it, and Greener stopped it.
Jesus, Greener. all the times to make a stop.
Greener makes a huge save, but then you start to get that feeling like it could come now.
And when you're in that situation as a coach, you're looking at who do you think can be that game breaker today? And I felt Walker was going a bit, you know, and Desi was going a bit. And they're two guys that I, 9 times out of 10, wouldn't use 4-on-4. I just felt they're going.
Desi was huge, and I think whenever over, you know, the 2 years he was here, we played in a big game. You just knew that he had that experience and that level of play which he could just turn on at any time, and you could see how and why he played in the NHL and had a career like he had. And it was, you know, it rubbed off on us all. He was a leader through and through, and he was, again, he was an old school type of leader where it was, you know, he said that weekend pretty much, jump on my back, I'm going to carry you through, and people did, and that was, you know, that was the thing about Desi. He weren't afraid to get his hands dirty and start things off.
Face-off one, back to McMillan. He'll take the shot on, it'll flash wide. It'll bounce back out, it's blocked in front of Mustakovs, and he scrambles and gets a pad on it.
They were hemmed in our zone. Walks was out there, Desi, hemmed in our zone, and for a couple minutes, and then the puck on the half wall, I think it was Clarkey, it bobbled over his stick.
And goes straight to Desi, and Desi just turns.
Then he picked up the puck on the boards and then just put his head down, pinned his ears back and skated like he's never skated before.
I mean, we're sitting in the middle of the arena right now. I'm looking at it now. Desi picks the puck up, and Desi will be the first to tell you that skating maybe isn't his strong point. And 1, 2, 3 strides. Then he gets onto the outside of McMillan.
McMillan's a forward. He's been playing D and forward all year for them, but you know, Desi just put his head down, put his shoulder down, went wide.
You know, he just broke around him, used his strength. I don't think the guy pivoted great, to be honest. I think he should have pivoted a bit earlier, but probably underestimated Desi's speed, to be honest. Because when he does get going for a big boy.
Walker's coming through the middle, but there's only one thing in Desi's mind. He's taking that puck to the net, whatever it takes.
Desi did what any coach will tell you to do, drive wide and put the puck to the net.
From the bench here, you can't see anything at that point. Every player's stood up at that point. Every player's looking, hoping, praying. Coaches are trying to find. Then I'm looking at the scoreboard to see if I can see the game. Crossing everything I have in my body that Desi's going to pull off some unbelievable play.
I think once he got on the hip of that defender, he's a strong guy to then show off. So once he kind of breaks the hip of the defender and cuts to the net, you're thinking, come on, put it in, please put it in.
We're kind of, you know, edge of the seat kind of thing.
When he cuts, and all I looked at was the light. I didn't look at the net. I just looked, please God, please God, please God, come on. Please God, come on.
Face-off one, back to McMillan. He'll take the shot on, it'll flash wide. It'll bounce back out, it's blocked in front of Mustakovs, and he scrambles and gets a pad on it. Oh, it was desperate stuff for a moment. Here's Clark. Puck gets away from him and the Steelers are back onto it. Steelers will attack Dan Green, they'll score, and they'll win it! It's DBN! And it's glory for the Steelers! The comeback is completed in overtime!
And it's just mayhem. There's sticks, gloves, helmets going everywhere, jumping the boards, people coming through.
There's pandemonium, you know, things are flying and guys are jumping, and I probably punched Brad.
After that was just a blur, to be honest. I think just the raw emotion of finally doing it, pulling it back from the highs and lows of the game, from the start in Nottingham. It was like we'd won the playoffs, but we hadn't won them yet. We'd only done half the battle, but...
Who thought this was possible after one period of the game? After 7 periods of the game, the Sheffield Steelers will play in the final 4. Both of these teams will be in Nottingham next week. Well, the Panthers will be at home. The Steelers will be in the semi-finals.
It was just a great relief to know we had come from such a deficit the night before, and to be where we were, and we're cheering in front of everybody and jumping on Desi and giving Moose a hug, and it was the best feeling. You can't really get much better than that. It's just great.
It was, you know, I've been in the rink in this arena for some big moments, you know, in my old man's days, and just playing here myself, and that's got to be one of the loudest cheers when Desi scored that goal. The roof nearly came off.
It was shaking. It was so you could feel it in the pit of your stomach how loud it was. You could feel the roars coming through your own stomach.
8 years I think I've played in front of this crowd now, and I've never heard the building that loud, that electric.
I remember there were some first timers in that night, and I got a couple of emails the morning after to say I've never experienced a live event like it, and even for the hardened Steeler fans of 25 years, it was exceptional to say the least. You know, I mean, we've all been around when we've won playoffs or league titles, but there was something special, very special about that particular Sunday night in the arena.
It was the loudest this building had ever been. It was Iron Maiden on their encore. It was, everything was just that loud. And for Desi, the guy that the building respected as much as anybody, to do it.
I'm so sad that Desi's gone, but Desi's goal was, I don't know if you can remember the one that we scored to win the playoff final before that. You know, it's a goal that you'll never forget, and it took us to a first playoff final under our ownership, and I was so pleased about that. Desi's was the same.
Most teams would have quit against that. Most teams would have thrown the towel in against that, but we didn't. And then for Desi, who was such a huge part of our playoff run, to grab the team and finish the way he did, and for us to, no better feeling to knock the Nottingham Panthers out after a 4-0 lead.
You know, all the people out there that didn't think we could do it, we did it. You know, that's the great feeling, and our family here and our extended family with all the fans and being excited all at the same time, and it's just, it's hard to explain, really. It's just raw.
It was the fact that all the people that slagged us off, and you know, after the game the night before said, "Oh, there's not a chance," and the way that Nottingham came in so cocky and so sure of themselves that they'd already won it.
You try not to, but what people write on social media and places like that, it's nice to prove people wrong.
There might not be many people that could have believed we could have done that, but the guys in the dressing room did, the coaches did, and that's what made that difference that evening.
I remember going into the room and you thought everybody was high-fiving, and everybody just sat there and we kind of just looked at each other and we did it.
And once you get in there and you realize that you've won, and you've had the hugs and the kisses and the wet noogies and all that stuff and the laughs, it's with that group of guys, you know, it was amazing. And to see Moose smiling, you know, it's hard to crack a smile out of that guy all the time. See him smiling, and
it was a riot. You come in the place and there's just equipment everywhere, guys dancing, guys going nuts. I don't think we realised we had a bigger challenge ahead of us in a week's time. Everyone was just so caught up in that moment of finally achieving that goal, the goals we set out after every period, and to go from the low of Saturday to the high of Sunday, it was unbelievable.
We had a couple of beers that night on the Sunday, but everyone knew the job's not over. That was just to get to the playoffs, you know? So yeah, it was great. It was a fantastic game, but it wouldn't have meant anything if we didn't win the playoffs.
You know, I probably coached around 2,000 games now, and that, even though that wasn't to win a trophy, that was somewhere what we needed to get to go and win a trophy. I don't think for theatre you'll find a better weekend in British hockey on. Well, I didn't think.
The playoff weekend's electric, whether you're a part of it or not.
I mean, it's British ice hockey festival. You know, that's the biggest and best of what we've got.
I think the excitement on on people that week was you know, you could tell there was something special.
So Walks was doing his stick in the corridor. And I walked past, he goes, "What's the score, coach?" I says, "Cardiff are going to be in the final." And he looked at me and he said, "Tomo, we wouldn't want it any other way."